Buckle up! America's oldest bank just made a move that could reshape the entire crypto landscape. BNY Mellon. We're talking about a 240-year-old financial titan managing over $53 trillion in assets, just partnered with Ripple in ways that go way deeper than most people realize. Here's the kicker. They're not just custodying Rolex reserves. We're looking at potential tokenization of trillions of dollars worth of traditional assets on the XRP ledger. Has this partnership been brewing behind the scenes for years? The connections we've uncovered will blow your mind. This is what we're diving into today. And trust me, you don't want to miss this. First up, let's set the foundation here. Meet Caroline Butler, BNY Mellon's global head of digital assets since 2023. She recently testified before Congress, and her words reveal just how committed this banking giant is to blockchain tokenization.
As the world's largest custodian with more than 52 trillion of assets in custody, BNY helps companies and banks, big and small, access the money they need. BNY plays a central role in supporting US Treasury markets and process approximately 2.4 trillion of payments per day across all payment rails. Our commitment to advancing the future of finance includes the integration of blockchain. This technology has the potential to make money move smarter and faster. Stablecoins can use these benefits to serve as a complement to the existing payment services and rails we offer our clients today. BNY supports stablecoin issuers by providing our traditional banking services, payments, deposit taking, and custody. For example, we serve as the primary custodian for the reserve assets of the largest stablecoin issuer in the US today. Providing these traditional services to a new client type was a natural evolution for BNY. The stablecoin ecosystem will continue to develop as market participants explore use cases based on their business models and client needs. This ecosystem will benefit from federal legislation that advances clarity and consistency, no matter the type of stablecoin issuer or the governing regulatory regime.
Here's what's absolutely wild. While she's speaking to Congress about BNY's $53 trillion custody business and their $2.4 trillion daily payment processing, she's essentially laying out the roadmap for how traditional finance is embracing blockchain technology. And get this, BNY Mellon didn't just wake up yesterday and decide to work with stablecoins. They've been the primary custodian for Circle's USDC since March 2022. This RLUSD partnership, it's the next evolution of a strategy they've been building for years. The stablecoin ecosystem keeps exploding, and federal legislation is finally catching up. When someone managing $53 trillion says stablecoins are the future, you listen. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. And honestly, this blew my mind when I discovered it. From multiple sources, we can confirm that BNY Mellon conducted a live proof of concept with Ripple's technology way back in 2016. This isn't some random partnership announcement. They've been testing this tech for nearly a decade. But wait, it gets even better. The connections between these companies run through their boardrooms. Sandy O'Connor. Here's someone who spent over 30 years at JP Morgan Chase as Chief Regulatory Affairs Officer, sits on BOTH, the Ripple board, and serves as chair of BNY Mellon Government Securities Services Corporation. Talk about having someone on the inside. Ripple knows exactly what BNY Mellon's technology roadmap looks like and how they can fit into that evolution. Here's another piece of the puzzle that most people missed. In 2024, Ripple acquired Standard Custody and Trust Company, and this wasn't just any acquisition. Standard Custody was founded by Arthur Britto, who's also the co-creator of the XRP ledger and co-founder of Ripple. But here's the real connection. Tim Keeney, a board member of Standard Custody, is the former vice chairman of BNY Mellon. So now we've got Sandy O'Connor and Tim Keeney creating these institutional bridges. When you control 25% of all institutional custody in the United States, that's literally 1 out of every $4, any technology partnership becomes massive for the entire industry. Paul Barron nailed it when he said this isn't just another crypto partnership. We're talking about a 240-year-old Wall Street giant essentially rubber-stamping stablecoins as legitimate financial infrastructure. What BNY Mellon is really saying here is that stablecoins represent the future of payment technology, and they're partnering with the most robust blockchain infrastructure available to make it happen. Here's what most people don't realize. Traditional banks are finally embracing digital assets at institutional scale. Cross-border payments are about to become exponentially faster and cheaper. Other major banks are watching this closely, and we're likely looking at a domino effect across the entire industry. The tokenization market is projected to explode from current levels to somewhere between $18.9 and $30 trillion by 2030 to 2033. And guess what? XRPL is perfectly positioned to handle that volume with 3 to 5s settlement times at fractions of a cent per transaction. Here's something crucial that every investor needs to understand. When banks want to build their own blockchain infrastructure from scratch, we're talking about years of development time. And in this rapidly evolving market, years might as well be decades. Banks that don't have this technology already developed are looking at massive costs and time delays. But the money to be made in tokenization is happening right now. They can't wait another 2 or 3 years. That's exactly why institutions are turning to Ripple. They can plug into battle-tested infrastructure that's been processing over $1 trillion in annual transaction volume for more than a decade. BNY Mellon just sent a clear signal to every other financial institution. Ripple is the legitimate, enterprise-grade blockchain partner for the tokenization revolution. BNY Mellon has already launched their blockchain accounting tool, with BlackRock as the first major client. This tool publishes real-time proof of reserves and asset data directly to blockchains, providing the transparent, auditable infrastructure that institutional investors demand. We're not talking about some experimental DeFi project here. This is institutional-grade infrastructure meeting blockchain innovation, backed by full New York regulatory approval for RLUSD. Now, let me paint a picture that'll get your attention. If even a fraction of BNY Mellon's $53 trillion in assets eventually moves onto the XRP ledger through tokenization, we're looking at unprecedented demand for XRP. Using current circulating supply, a $50 trillion market cap would put XRP at around $901 per token. But here's the multiplier effect. As DeFi builds out on XRPL and more XRP gets locked up in smart contracts and liquidity pools, the available supply shrinks while use cases explode. We could genuinely be looking at 4-digit XRP prices if this tokenization trend accelerates the way the projections suggest. Look, this partnership represents way more than just custodying some stablecoin reserves. We're witnessing the early stages of the largest financial infrastructure transformation in decades. And XRP Ledger is positioned right at the center of it all. The connections run deep, the technology is proven, and the institutional adoption is accelerating faster than most people realize. If this analysis opened your eyes to just how massive this partnership could become, smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dive crypto content. Drop a comment below. What do you think this means for XRP's price potential? Let's discuss. See you in the next one. And remember, we're still early to this tokenization revolution.
And you guys, I have a special trick for you, which nobody seems to be using, and I cannot wrap my head around why, because if you sign up through my link down in the description onto the BTCC exchange, you get a 10% deposit bonus, and now stay with me here. Now here comes the important part. If you have any trading capital on any other exchange and you move it to your newly created BTCC account, you get, on top of your capital you moved, another 10% extra trading capital. As an example, so if you move or deposit 100K to your account, you get 10K for free. I'm not kidding. I really don't understand why nobody's doing this. To me, it really seems like people sometimes are too lazy or just don't like free money. I mean, like, I cannot make that account for you. You will need to do that yourself, alright? So let's jump back into the video.